Well, that game was pretty decent. Barcelona now top of La Liga after a 2-1 win versus Atleti, who finished with 9 men. I don't know how Barcelona didn't capitalise on that further. Pretty exciting game. I don't know how Atleti thought they could get away with horrendous tackles on Barcelona at Barcelona. Like, obviously the referee's going to give those decisions away. Koke originally got the Atleti goal, then Messi with a first time finish. The Felipe Luis sending off, I think, was the first one. Horrendous studs up tackle on Messi's knee. How does he think he can get away with that? Barcelona start playing a little bit better. Griezmann has probably the best chance of the game, like just tries to get it in the corner with a studs up finish, but Bravo manages to get his feet to it and it goes out. Other than that, Godin, of course, the second yellow, which made him be the second player that was sent off for Atleti for a horrible challenge on Suarez. Thuram comes on for a bit, returning to Atleti, and of course he's only just come back to Barcelona, and today was his birthday. He also got a decent shot off on goal. And now it looks like Barcelona are getting closer and closer already to that title. They've probably got a 7-point gap, I think, don't quote me on that, on Real Madrid, and now 3 points over Atleti, who look worse for wear after that match, and Carrasco was injured, I think. But yeah, good game. Together, they are top of the league. Barcelona versus Atletico Madrid has been a big fixture for a while, but especially so since Atleti won La Liga at the Nou Camp in 2014. So let's run through the numbers and try and get some insight into these teams. As I always go on and on about, goals, surprisingly, aren't a fantastic way of telling you how good football teams are, because there aren't that many of them in football, and they don't predict how many goals a team will score in their next 5 games, 10 games, 20 games. But shots, well, there are more of them. They give us more information, so they tell us more about how many goals a team will score in future. Shots on target give us even more information than that, and expected goals, which talk about the distance from goal, the angle from goal, the type of situation that a shot is taken in. They try and measure the quality, not just quantity of shots, tell us the most out of all of these categories. So just in terms of goals this season, the results aren't surprising. As per usual, Barcelona and Real Madrid are blowing apart La Liga, and Atleti aren't that far behind. But will Atleti scoring that amount of goals allow them to win the league title this season? And will they even keep scoring that number of goals for the rest of the year? Well, Atleti are doing well by expected goals, but they're not doing mind-blowingly well. In fact, they're actually slightly overachieving their expected goals this season. Not by much, but you'd maybe expect them to score a little bit less going forwards if they take the same quality of shots. But Atleti are scoring a lot of set-piece goals, which, it's no secret, has been a big part of their success. And I think it's an area, more generally, that football coaches don't take enough advantage of. You have certain situations, corners, free kicks, etc., which are easily replicable, that you can easily practice in training loads and pull off really fantastic routines that are more likely to lead to goals, and I don't think, even at the professional level, that is done as successfully as it could have. At Atleti, that's not the case. 18 goals from set pieces this season is way above average and not too dissimilar from the kind of numbers they've achieved in the past, which might tell you something about the fact that this is systematic and not just lucky that they're scoring these set piece goals. And I think you draw a similar conclusion if you watch Atletico Madrid. Some of their set pieces are pulled off incredibly, and they have been doing so for a while. In the links in the description below, you will find a brilliant piece from 13 Steps, which outlines some of Atleti's corner routines, including a near post corner routine that seems to be scored at 4 times the rate of the rest of the league. So I think there are some good reasons to believe in Atletico Madrid's attack this season, but let's talk about defence. Atleti never concede. Never concede. Single-digit goals against before this game was crazy compared to the rest of La Liga, and at home this season they've conceded less than a goal every 3 games. By expected goals, their defence is also the best in the league. But you would have expected them, by expected goals, to have conceded more, given the quality of shots that they're conceding, than they've actually conceded so far this season. So, has Atleti's defence been lucky? Well, expected goals actually works better in Spain than in almost any other league in the world, but if Atleti were to beat expected goals, they'd need to have some sort of system that just hadn't been seen in the past whatsoever, and maybe Simeone's pressing system, which is incredible to watch, might be an example of that. In what's often a two-striker system, they press from the front and all over the pitch, but kind of allow opponents to play easy passes to a spare man in their back line, because under the Simeone philosophy of pressing in football, it's fantastic if you press the opponent, they hoof the ball up, and then you can regain possession and try and create an attacking move. But what if you could create that attacking move in a better attacking shape and further up the pitch, so they allow those deeper, weaker players to have the ball, press them with two men, etc., and try and control the other passing options that they can get to, win the ball back and try and score from that. So maybe their system explains some of their overperformance in expected goals against, but Atleti under Simeone in the past 2 seasons have not conceded less goals than they were expected to in either of those seasons. So unless there's some crazy new system that's just happening this year, I don't think that's necessarily the case. Last word on Atleti, usually I tend to think that the role of the manager in football is often slightly overrated, but don't quote me on that because I'm not particularly confident on it. But Simeone is doing an incredible job. We know that he has more control over transfers than most managers do, and the results have been incredible. A team of young stars like Vieta, Griezmann, Oblak, Koke, Correa, just to name a few. I think we can be pretty confident that managers play a huge role in how sides operate their set pieces, and Atleti are killing it there. Not only that, but they've done all this on a relatively small budget. They've spent very little in net terms on transfers, partly because of their slightly dodgy finances, but that's a video for another day. In an era of Ronaldo and Messi, Simeone has not only turned Atleti into one of the best sides in Spain, but one of genuinely the best teams in the world. If I was a board member at one of those traditionally bigger clubs, I would be desperate to get him. As for Barcelona, do I really need to tell you how good they are? This is a team who, according to several big analysts, would not be significantly worse without Messi. That's not to say that Messi is an incredible player, but instead that Barcelona are so good that even without arguably the greatest player to ever play football, they are still excellent. The big tactical trend for Barcelona in recent years has been moving away from Pep Guardiola's focus on positional play and towards Luis Enrique's ideas on individualism, which you're obviously going to try to do if you have Messi and Neymar and Suarez, etc, etc. This is beautifully demonstrated in this graphic from Michael Cayley, whose expected goals data I'm stealing throughout this video. I hope you enjoyed this analysis, and if you did, share it around with your friends. The ad revenue from these videos all goes to charity, or instead, if you still want to be charitable but thought this video was absolute crap, then you can donate to my Just Giving page in the links in the description below. Unfortunately, the Bayern Munich video now won't be coming out this week, but instead in like 2 or 3 weeks time, because the Opta Pro work has kind of caught up with me. If you don't know what that is, I had an update video here or here. I don't really have any special reasoning, so I'm not sure which. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in 2 weeks time for the next match team analysis thing, which will either be on Napoli Juventus or City versus Spurs, or I think Arsenal versus Leicester is that weekend. Let me know what you want to see, and I'll see you then.